How powerful is God?
I think there is a power. I think most people at one point or another experience that power. They draw upon something that seems larger than themselves.
Can God do better stuff than David Blaine's?
You're asking God to make square circles, which are impossible. God can't do impossible things. That's not a limitation on it.
So ain't God just like an overhyped David Blaine's?
No, and a lot of people would find that suggestion very offensive.
Yo, sorry. If God has got all these amazing powers, why don't he flex it every day? Like if you has got it flaunted. I mean, mate Dave, he's got a 9-incher. He gets it out all the time. God should be showing his powers.
Where did I put the thing? Hold on a minute. Who's coming through? I know nothing at all about math rock. Well, in addition to post rock, math rock was one of the driving flavors of my entire experience in my 20s, coming out of college as a drummer, playing in bands, etc. Like overstep. So I had done a DSLR video about this. It was a later one. I did like 3 videos in 2014 or something. The original like 30 were all in 2012 and early 13, and then I did like 3 more in 14 or something, and one was about math rock. And it was about how like, who cares anymore about this, but like at the time all these people were talking about math rock. Like the Oliver Deep Cuts guy had a thing, like, you know, starter pack people were talking about math rock, and like all the bands they were talking about were just emo bands. Like they weren't math at all. They had no technical component. It was just overplaying drummers. So I made a video called Clefairy Battles the Overplaying Drummers of the 1990s, which is like, that was the thing in the 1990s, overplaying drummers everywhere. And I was one of them. Like 100%. It was ridiculous. Rushing all over the shit, doing triplets on the hi-hats every fucking time. Like, you know, off left-hand cuts and doubles, and like it's just like, it's hit stuffing. It's just hits all day. And it's funny that Don Cab, who I have up on the screen, is like, you know, their earliest cuts is called First Hits. What, you know, whatever. It's not related. But point being, math rock is, if it's going to be used at all as a phrase, it should, in my view, it's a very tight definition of like willfully intentional, complex time signatures and changes. And in the old video, I had talked about, you know, a bunch of influences in early bands that had a lot to do with it. You know, and infamously, you know, like Slint's first album, Not Really Spiderland, which is like Slint's in both worlds. If you don't know Slint, I mean, if you're watching this, you do. But, you know, they are way early. They're like late 80s with Tweez. And Tweez has a lot of kind of nerdy, mathy ideas to it. And it's like, does this come out of kids who are secretly prog kids, like Rush fans? Is that where? Because it's so early on. And even Bitch Magnet, too, the band that presages Soo Young Park's band before Seam, their initial music has some of this. But, you know, in terms of willful technical playing, math rock is really limited. And that's, I think, why I agree with the fact that younger kids, millennials, whatever, when they're talking about this stuff, a lot of what they're getting into, they're calling Midwest emo. It's American football. It's, you know, plucking resonant twang, ring out emotional music, even if it doesn't have a singer. So, you know, the blurred line between emo and math rock has always been this issue. I mean, the blurred line between emo and anything, emo hardcore, emo core, it's no one wanted to be called emo ever. And now it's like emo. I mean, not now. 5 years ago, it started with like emo nights, and suddenly emo was like cool. But people were talking about like, you know, newfound glory emo and like fucking like mall emo. You know, there's mall emo, which is like post Fallout Boy, Phoenix TX, like Blink pop punk emo, and then there was screamo, and screamo's lineage back to San Diego and all that shit. You know, it's a silly thing, but there is enough of kind of a, you know, a mathy, you know, quadrant or whatever, especially in my own listening historically and in the things that, you know, that I've been a fan of, that I definitely felt like, you know, I can do a video where I can blow through it. And at the top, to be clear, you're not going to be getting many bargains here. Like, very, very unlikely you will get bargains. It's just simply a case of this being a very popular genre, and it's one where it's just got such a tax on it, you know, and it is what it is, right? Like, there's examples of things I'll pull up that are absolutely crazy. Like, you're gonna spend stupid money to get some of this stuff if you want to bother. But let's go through it. Like, you know, I did too much talking about the fall and history and background on the fall one ultimately for my liking. So I just want to make sure and go through and actually cover more records in this one, so it becomes more of a guide, you know, let's say. So let me pull this up and get my screen sorted, because this is like kind of difficult to navigate. So Don Cab. Already at the top, you're seeing, you know, 655 copies of Don Cab anything, and this is going to include compilations as well. So it's not only the fact that these, you know, when you click through on this and you just sort by the band, starting just there, right? And then I'll bring it down to the US just for purposes of, you know, my own whatever. I would expect that in Europe, England, etc., a lot of this music is going to be cheaper and easier to get, because Domino will have distributed some of it, you know, labels like that. And so, you know, this stuff, while it has an audience there, it doesn't have anywhere near the audience that it's had for the last fully 5 to 8 years in the States of young music fans. The whole TikTok generation, like it's like shoegaze and math rock is it. Midwest emo and shoegaze, that's all they talk about all day. Which, you know, cool. So if you go through this, you know, with Don Cab, like I said, what are you getting? You're getting tons of comps, like, you know, bargain basement comps all day. With Don Cab, that's not a big help. An old 7-inch, the R Caballero 7-inch looks pretty affordable. That's vinyl. The Relapse record, World Class Listening Problem, I don't mind this record. I like it fine. You're gonna find this cheap all day, because people were essentially kind of over the band and they had done their initial run, and it's just not, it's not something that a lot of people are gonna be stoked about, probably. You know, it's 2006. I love this record, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's $4 for American Dawn, but it's wrecked. The disc is scratched. Artwork has a lot of wear and rip stickers. But this shouldn't be expensive. American Dawn was pressed in pretty good numbers, and they had like a name. If any of their records are going to be affordable, boom, here you go, 100% all day. $4 for Don Cab 2 because it's a promo. I mean, this is Stupid Puma. This is No One Gives a Hoot About Your Faux Ass Nonsense. Like, this is classic shit. $4 because it's a promo. Live, get it down now. Someone go in and snake that shit. You know, for respect, this is the first, like, this you should relatively be able to find. The first record, it's been repressed. And so, you know, this one's not as strong. You do get, you know, For Respect itself is a great song. There's a couple others on here I like, but you know, the first album is not the strongest. It's not the thing that like seals them. Here's what's crazy. This is the reference compilation of the early hardcore badass fucking raging math rock Don Cab that made their rep. $4. If you're not already buying this right now while I'm looking at it, you're nuts. This is the absolute belter of all time. Like, when people talk about math, this is it. Like, go here first, and if it's not measuring up to this level of intensity, it's not math rock. Like, there's very few bands that truly are. This compilation it's literally unbelievable front to back. Lucky Father Brown, Putting in My Eye, fucking First Hits. This thing is an absolute crusher. And you're looking at 3 different copies here on CD for $4. Done. Like, done out the gate. So sick. The CD EP for R Caballero, I've seen that for cheap. Here's another one, $4.98. Like, that is completely go take it down. I don't understand how there's 4 to 5 CDs of this in the States for under $6. That is such a steal. I don't know if it has to do with the vinyl culture thing, because Don Cab isn't a huge vinyl band. But anyway, here's American Dawn on CD for $5. Claimed near mint, very good plus, $5. American Dawn is like their proggiest record. These are like the super long Peter Criss jazz, Fire Back About Your New Baby Sex. Like you haven't, oh man, let's face it. Wait, what's the one? A lot of people tell me I have a fake British accent. I mean, these are some of the best song titles fucking ever. So good. You Drink a Lot of Coffee for a Teenager. That one fucking kills me. This band just fucking ruled. They were so good. I only saw them once, and they weren't great because later on it became kind of a problem. The tension between the band members wasn't so great with Damon, the drummer, the octopus, and the later period was a little bit kind of, I mean, like, look, it's almost like performatively trying to be like the Police in a way, in terms of the tension between I was just like, you know, I don't know, if this is how you guys are going to be behaving, like, just stop. It was kind of indulgent. Like, look, I don't want to slam on them too hard. They're one of the best live bands ever, and I'm lucky I ever got to see them. But I would have loved to see them around this time, because this is some serious shit. Don Cab 3, like one of the best fucking beats ever. I mean, this, and the coolest thing is it's continued from the end of the album before this, Don Cab 2. So Don Cab 2 ends on this drum beat. And then What Burns Never Returns starts with it. Like, it's such a fucking arch catalog music geek move. But yeah, this for $5, goosh. Like, I mean,
$70. That's a slab of piss and I'm packing Winnie Blues. Get the boys round.
I mean, this is nuts that you can get, right now, you've got 3 Don Cab CDs for $15. Even if you're spreading it across and having to build little mini carts to make the shipping work, holy shit, what an opportunity. Like, it's crazy because I'm telling you, anything we're going to go through, it is not going to be this cheap. I'm like fairly well astonished that this could be happening, but I don't need to worry about it. I mean, I've got everything. I've got, like, you know, I've got the singles, I've got all the CDs, everything. I got it at the time. So for me, like, I'm done. There's no Don Cab I don't have. Except, you know, the vinyl, which I actually have some of that too, because the singles CD wasn't even out, you know, so if you were trying to collect them, you had to get it that way. But yeah, Don Cab 2, $6. I mean, and they're even being cautious in their grading of it all day. What Burns, $7. You're still, like, this is still absolute take it down stakes. Under $10 a copy for a CD of this to get yourself it forever, like, ripped to flak, and now you've got this, like, this is ridiculous. These aren't getting, I don't think these are getting repressed. Like, this is just original run. It's just out there. Now you're starting to get up into $7 territory, and this is where stores are looking at the average, right? They're looking at what it's sold for, they're looking at what it's listed for, and so yeah, this is normative, you know, retail-ish type money, and you're going to pay that. You're definitely going to pay it. I'm surprised. Unresolved Karma for $9 isn't bad. That one's really hard to find. That's on Broken Giraffe, and it's the only thing on Broken Giraffe besides the Slag 7-inch. I have both of these, but like, that for $9, if you are a record collector and you have the money to throw away $9 on a 7-inch, you want to get that right now. You're not going to see that again. Not for that money. This is a huge miss. Like, this is nuts that Don Cab is relatively affordably collectible even still, given everything that's going on. I mean, it's harder. They're a harsher band than a lot of this other, you know, the stuff, the Midwest emo stuff that's, like, you know, really touches me and, you know, makes me feel so warm and fuzzy. But they're a really good candidate to collect. Let's check out Jehu. So Drive Like Jehu, now the first album is way more math than Yank Crime, but one thing about them is the song Bullet Train to Vegas. Now again, this is just raging San Diego legacy perfect. It's its own kind of style of rock more than it is like math. But the first record has so much overplaying kind of mathy stuff from Mark Trombino. He's a fucking amazing player. I love his stuff, and I love. Yeah, no, G-Puz, we are going to get to that, and that was a rude awakening, and I'm tempted to unload my copy of that when I saw what it's going for. No shit, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow. Anyway. Yeah, we'll get into Breadwinner in a minute. There's not much to talk about. But anyway, for Jehu, they got pretty big and they were on Interscope. So Yank Crime, I've never looked, this should be raining. And the key thing with Bullet Train is on a merge compilation. So like bands where you're talking about 7 inches and stuff, some of this stuff ends up on CD comps, and so is a good target. The one I'm thinking of is Merge 5. Why? Oh, because Deftones covered them. That's why they're coming up. That kind of sucks in terms of being able to filter this right. But I'm just going to pull up, there's a ton of vinyl. I bet a lot of it is copies of Bullet Train. There it is, 5 Rows of Teeth. So the 5 Rows of Teeth compilation, this has Bullet Train to Vegas on it, on CD. This you can get for $1 all day, must get. You're also getting like a good Rocket cut. You've got Watch the Nail from Polvo. Like if you don't have a lot of this stuff, this 94 merge compilation really kind of gives away the store for nothing. The weird thing is we were just mentioning, yeah, Pitchfork is a little bit more mathy and they're my favorite of the two, but I'll get to that in a sec. The weird thing about this is we were just talking about Breadwinner, and I'll just go to Breadwinner here for a sec. Breadwinner was a Richmond, Virginia band. Their guitarist, Penn Rawlings, used to be in a kind of a flangy hardcore. This is like a sound of the time. Like think about Squirrel Bait. He was in a band called Honor Roll. Merge did a complete discography CD called Album, I think, in the late 90s of all the Honor Roll shit. It's very classically like 1986, like One Last Wish style 3, the band 3 on Discord, like flanger bands, like a little bit Rites of Spring. They're all over that shit. But like Penn Rawlings is a fucking OG. There's no, like, he's amazing. And Breadwinner is, like, to me, the definitive American indie math rock band. And Burner, this compilation CD, is the shit. But I didn't realize this got repressed for Record Store Day in 2014. So the majority of this is scalping vinyl flipping assholes who want, yeah, here you go, 45, 40, 50 bucks for this. There's like 8 songs on this and they're 1.5 minutes long each. Like, it's ridiculous. But here's the thing that really sucked. The CD is going for 30. No one has the CD out here. The CD is going for 30, 20 pounds. Somebody's got it in France, 20 euros rather. The CD is going for 30 and 40 bucks. So I don't know. I mean, it's literally 19 minutes long, but it's amazing. Like Tourette's, Prescott, Knighton. This shit is amazing. If you've never heard it, get on your Spotify and your YouTube. Check these guys out. Apparently this is dried up in terms of used because there's only 2 CDs of it, 3 in the whole world on Discogs right now for sale. Whatever. And the Record Store Day is like, get somebody trying to get 200 bucks for this shit. Get the fuck out of here. Like that's disgusting. It's just so dumb. Anyway, yeah, this turned out to be an expensive CD. I have it. I've had it since it came out in college. I got this and I love this and I love learning how to play along to it. Like you got to know how to do double kick hits or triplets even on a single kick to really do this right. But yeah, this stuff just smokes. And it's a compilation CD of 7 inches. They did like a couple 7 inches on Merge, and then they broke up in like 1.5 years or something. But yeah, can't recommend Breadwinner enough. Absolutely, between Dawn and them, that like early Dawn Cab and Breadwinner, that is what math rock is about in terms of when it came around, existed, and was a thing. And I said in the video too that Primus is totally part of this and should be part of this conversation. Like, forget precious indie rock 7-inch culture and I listen to Chisel and fucking Karate and all this other crap. Like, great, but it's so absurd that because Primus is a mainstream band that was like, on MTV all the time, and they have a nerdy kind of, Best Buy, work at Best Buy kind of vibe to them and drive a fucking Rex STI. Like, I get it. Their audience is not the math rock, precious Midwest emo audience at all. But the first 3 Primus records fucking shred. And if you're into technical playing and whatever, you should absolutely fucking have them. It's like Frizzle Fry, Pork Soda, and Sailing the Seas. Suck on This too. They're just fucking so good. But anyway, back to where we were trying to go with Jehu. You do want to get 5 Rows of Teeth. You should be able to get that for under $5 all day. That gets you Bullet Train to Vegas. They're one of their absolute best songs ever. One of the craziest songs Rick Froberg ever belts it out vocally on. Absolute just monster cut. Don't forget, this has come up before. This came up on the compilations one, didn't it? This fucking thing. I mean, this is Crank Records. So Crank was an emo label. They had Boys Life. I had talked to them like at the time, the guy who started the label, because I was a music director at a college radio station that was really helping this label and a lot of other bands like Christie Front Drive. Like we got Vitreous Humor had broken up. We got the Regrets to come play at Skidmore. We were like totally actively helping promote this whole thing. Christie Front Drive and Caulfield Records, like we were one of the radio stations, because I was running it, that was like super helping this label. And he was a really cool guy. He had Mineral and Boys Life's first 2 records. Vitreous Humor didn't do well. They've since become like a celebrated, like I'm sure this fucking 10-inch goes for like absolutely ridiculous money. This is straight up emo. Like Vitreous Humor defines emo for me, the notion of Midwest 90s emo. They even had a pop song, like a Just Like Heaven style pop song called Why Are You So Mean to Me? But this EP is one of my favorite fucking records ever, like absolutely. And look at this, you can get it all day. I'm sure the vinyl goes for absolutely just stupid ass money, but look at the CD. $6-7 all day, mint. I mean, it's not long. There's only like 7 songs on it. But Gods of Dance, man. I've said this before. I think I cut this out of the video I did, but I remember talking about it. Oh, it's because I talked about this in the podcast with Jeff Rickley from Thursday, which is on Spotify under Shallow Rewards. This song, Gods of Dance, is like the ultimate hungover on a Sunday afternoon in a fucking triple-decker apartment, smoking a butt, staring out the window in the dead of winter. Like Gods of Dance, nothing sounds more like that. The Sonora Pines 2, that album, Gods of Dance, like it is the most burned out, desolate, like I have no fucking life. I have no friends. I'm in a band. Like I got shit-faced the other night and made an asshole out of myself. All that fucking 20s angst all over this shit. Like if you want to feel that shit, listen to Gods of Dance by Vitreous Humor. But Crank was a good label. It's just they were emo. And this comp, Don't Forget to Breathe, was just everywhere, man. Everyone had this. The Promise Ring were blowing the fuck up. Christie Front Drive were doing well. Vitreous was doing okay. And even Knapsack, that band got hyped to fuck on college radio. But this comp has Bullet Train to Vegas, which is why I pull it up. So this is yet another way. And you get a lot of other good shit too. So I mean, literally, I would tell you buy both those comps. Buy five Rows of Teeth and buy Don't Forget to Breathe. These are like, if you're collecting to collect for, like I talk about period correctness and what it feels like. No, it's a good song, Jock. Why are you so mean to me? It's a good song. Be nice. They were 19, man. They were 18 and 19 years old, Vitreous Humor, when they were active. Like, cut them fully a break on that shit. They're allowed to be emo. They're allowed to be as emo as you want to be. Anyway. These 2 comps, honestly, get them both. That's fair. That's cool. Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of like the whole indie rock scene a lot.
That's my excuse. So yeah, get both those comps. You know, comps are generally speaking going to be so cheap because they're diffuse. You're not getting all the songs by one band. You're getting all these other bands maybe you don't care about. Like, I'm not a huge Ethel Meserve fan that I'm getting tagged with Ethel Meserve shit if I buy these. So anyway, it looks like Don't Forget is trending a lot higher than 5 Rows of Teeth because of all those Midwest emo bands that are on it. The idea of paying $10 for this is very funny to me. Like, this was given away as a drink coaster at every college in America. So we're starting at $15 for a fucking used copy of an Interscope Records CD. That is dog shit. Wow. They're asking $20 for this shit. I mean, Headhunter is like cargo. It's not. Wow, that's fucked. $20 for this, man. Wow. $102 for the CD sealed? Are you high? Oh, this is that Rose Time store. I see them all the time, overcharging shit. Mothers. Yeah, I got Yankram at a flea market for $5. Exactly. It's on fucking Interscope. What are these people doing? This is just Discogs blind spot shit. This is unfortunately part of the Discogs problem. You know, but this one's great. This is much more like Pitchfork, which someone mentioned. One of my favorite bands like ever. They're way mathier. So, Rick, and Pitchfork. So Pitchfork had a compilation kind of EP, LP. So again, look, if you're a record collector, get everything on Nemesis Records. There's like 78 Nemesis releases. Get everything on Nemesis. Even Olive Lawn. Oh my God. Olive Lawn Sap. Holy shit. Man, this is some...
I can smell the coal.
And it's like Springhouse, the band Jack Rabbit was in. There's just like this so mid kind of thing. And anyway, I love them, don't get me wrong. But yeah, Nemesis Records is a really cool label if you wanted to, you know, like get it going. They had The Offspring for a minute, and they had Pitchfork, and they had Olive Lawn, and then they had later on, what was the other thing I loved? Oh, this comp is fucking killer. Oh man, this is, fuck, I clicked on the wrong thing. Hardcore East Meets West, yeah, Chorus of Disapproval, fucking Carrie Nation. Sick of it all. This is such a good little comp single. Anyway, Nemesis is a good label to collect if you wanted to get into label targeting collecting. But oh yeah, the band's from like 1988. Yeah, they came way before the website. It has nothing to do with the website. The website, literally, Ryan says, is because of Al Pacino's tattoo in Scarface. Like, what the fuck? I never got that, never cared. But Eucalyptus is the one to get. I think it was reissued too. Yeah, Swami reissued the CD. So this, I'm not gonna think it's common as Carrots, but you're gonna pay emo tax on this because it's Jehu adjacent. There's just no question. And it was out of print, legit. So it looks like the Nemesis one is out there in a couple places in Belgium, France. Okay, so yeah, 15. I mean, look. Fine, it's fair. If you're gonna bother, don't get the Swami reissue. I don't know if it's remastered because I never owned it, so I don't know if they bricked it or blew it out. Excuse me. But you can see there's a couple Nemesis copies, 15, 16 bucks. Honestly, that's fair. Even the Swami one, 15, 16, I mean, whatever. You gotta like this. The LP, yeah, this is gonna go for 75 bucks all day. Like, absolutely, the vinyl's going to go for stupid money. There's not a lot of copies of this. I wouldn't imagine that they did more than 1,000 of this. Is it? Did they ever? Anybody ever put it? Sometimes people put that shit in on Discogs. But yeah, I mean, the vinyl is going to be stupid all fucking day. Even the 7 inches are going to be stupid. But that CD is amazing. I mean, this is one of my, like, this was in a skate video. The song Reina, I'm assuming it's called Reina. This is in a really famous skate vid. I'm totally blanking right now. Is it a, what's his face part? The crazy goofy footed dude. If anyone in the chat remembers. Anyway, Reina was in a big late 1990 skate video that I remember. That's how most of us heard it. And we were like, what the fuck? This is awesome. Because it sounded like a kind of an update on that whole like Rites of Spring mid-80s Discord sound I was talking about. And so most people, it's kind of like how most people nationally outside New England first heard Dinosaur Jr. because they were in the Blind video, you know, where like Jason Lee drives a car off a cliff and shit. I think Green Mine was in that, or was it in Rubbish Heap? I can't remember. Fucking skate videos. You're fucked up when you're watching them. Like I don't remember like half the shit in them. But like Burn Pigs Burn and Placebo, this record's like, it's not front to back outstanding, but it's sick. Twitch is my favorite song the band ever did. Like like that thing. All that 90s, you know, because this band's associated, all these guys are associated with Rocket from the Crypt. And then, like, that whole, like, kind of swaggery, I talked about Afghan Wigs in a recent stream, that whole swaggery kind of vibe, like, having a groove and shit, like, that all comes from Rick and, like, this kind of shit. Like, he really took, I don't know what you call it, but, like, his twist on the San Diego thing, he kind of saved it from being so straight and straight up screamo and informed by hardcore, and he really used the mathy grooves and shit to make it kind of pull out. Yeah, GNS footage, Rubbish Heap, all that fucking shit. This is not the new H Street video, bootleg in '91, that too. That's like my whole fucking teen. Like, look, when Jonah Hill came out with the mid-90s movie, it was like, yeah, you want to think you were in Kids, and Kids was about you. Yeah, no, you were too young for any of that shit. Like, sorry, Jonah. Nice love letter to a time you absolutely did not fucking live through. whatever. But yeah, Pitchfork, great. It's got Matthew overplaying. Definitely recommend that shit. Turing Machine. So one of my favorite records ever, let alone math, but this is like the apex fucking math kraut perfection. This album is just front to back unfucking believable. Came out in 2000. It's called A New Machine for Living, and immediately blew everyone's goddamn minds. I mean, so if you don't know, the drummer Jerry Fuchs died really fucking tragically at a party in, I think, Brooklyn. It's the worst fucking story. They had like a manual elevator that was like fucked up, and it stalled at the top, and he tried to jump the gap to go back into the warehouse, and his fucking hoodie caught on a piece of metal, and he fell down the elevator shaft and died. Fucking horrible. He was involved in a bunch of other bands. If you want to get, interested in him, he was in LCD Sound System briefly, Live, the Juan McLean heavily. He worked with Maserati for a minute, and Chick even. The guy's one of the best fucking drummers, and it's such a fucking sad story. But it's really just like, what do you say? There's not much you can say about it, but to tell the story and just be like, this guy fucking ruled. The price list, £4, $6. Superficial hairline. I don't give a crap about that. People who bother to write this much about a CD, it's gonna be fine. You know what I mean? It's gonna rip. It's gonna play. If they bother to write this, they're like, this is a good person. This is a store that's like, credible, and you can trust them. So $6 all goddamn day. Absolutely. And somebody mentioned Jade Tree. Jade Tree was a pretty well-backed label. Like, their stuff came out in solid numbers. You've got like 3 hauls from Feltskin. Yeah, good. I mean, again, if you really get into this and you've spent years using Discogs, you will recognize a lot of these stores. It's not as big a market as you might think. Especially when you get into hipster shit and indie rock and whatever, and punk and like gutter punk and hardcore and shit, you're going to see a lot of the same sellers. Like, I mean, I've been heavily in Discogs buying for over 5 years, and it's like, it becomes really common. But this thing, anything under $15, gone. Like, I would say absolutely take it out, because it's not like there's 150,000 copies of this shit. It's Jade Tree. I don't know what their norm was. I would assume the max that a Jade Tree CD would have ever gotten pressed would be 10K. Pinback. Yep. Yeah. It's not going to be Pinback though. And you just reminded me the whole reason I'm doing this. Jesus. The whole reason I decided to do this entire fucking stream is Rob Crow put the Thingy records on Bandcamp. So the 2 Thingy albums, one's an EP, which literally I will defy you to find anyone that doesn't have only promo copies of these, which is what I have, because this is the only way you would have gotten it. But yeah, Thingy is the band that Rob Crow forms after Heavy Vegetable. So again, definitive math band is Heavy Vegetable. Like, it is the entire fabric of what Heavy Vegetable was, but it's also kind of a nerdy band, like a big sense of humor, goofy band. Like, they have a song about Wesley Willis, and so Rob was really in tune with that whole thing. Manolo Turner, fucking amazing drummer. So the first album's got kind of like some dork stuff on it. And yeah, oh man, if you go watch old skate videos, like, they're literally like, a kickflip is a get. Like, oh, I did a nose slide. Fuck, you get the first part in the video, like, and then you go see like ghost slides and fucking tech shit when you're getting into late 90s, like by the time of Birdhouse. Even then, it's so ridiculous compared to early 90s. Anyway, so this famously, there's a really infamous vinyl of this that goes for like $700 if you can ever find it. It was a combo vinyl that they did of both albums. Is it even listed? What the hell? Where is it? Oh, here you go. So this is it. So they did this. Yeah, there's 3 for sale starting at $200. Somebody, oh yeah, of course, Cargo themselves is selling a sealed copy of this for $400 direct. Come on. For shitty fucking 90s vinyl. Isn't it like colored too? I don't remember. But like the craziest thing about this was sent to some radio stations as a promo item, this double vinyl. Like no shit, it was in 95. It wasn't sent to my station, but like that is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anyway, Heavy Vegetable, I'm not look, I don't know anybody apart from me that was talking about Heavy Vegetable in 2013 or 14. Like I've repped this fucking band forever. Frisbee, you know, like Abducted by the Work Aliens, all this shit is just ridiculous. If you've never heard Crash, like you don't know what technical math rock is. So just like go look up Crash on YouTube and you'll get exactly what I'm talking about. This is not going to be cheap. It has since become a known commodity. Like there's nothing like this. And so, you know, kids find out about it. It becomes like a cherished, like, holy shit, I can't believe, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the canon when I was a kid now is like distant and like wholly amazing to kids. And I get it. And that's how it goes. It was the same way. My generation got way too into, I've said a million times, no wave and all the other bullshit and krautrock that we were like, I can't believe Can existed. Oh my God. Whatever. You know, it's just a cycle. It's a cyclic thing. But you're not going to find Heavy Vegetable cheap ever. I don't know. I'm guessing that buying this digitally on Bandcamp is your best bet. This EP, so that you know, is acoustic. The Staring Contest EP. This is an acoustic EP. Cutest Baby is such a... Even the cutest baby will grow up to be a dickhead. Like, it's Rob Crow's sense of humor, like, at that time. Thread and Caro is one of the best fucking tunes. It's so good. The amped full band version of that is on the album, I believe, right? It has to be. What am I thinking? My SK5 is on this. Wait, is this the right track list or did he change it? SK5, Light Drizzle. No, okay, it's the same as the album. So this is the actual album. And it's right. Revolution in a Box, Drugs, yeah. Wow, I thought Thread and Caro was on here. Fucking weird. What am I thinking of? I don't know what else he's put out. Like, I haven't even checked. Obviously, there's a whole other aspect to this with P. Hicks, which I don't need to get into that. Was it To the Innocent where Thread and Caro ended up? I'm almost positive there was a full band version of that, and it was fucking great. Weird. Was it on a 7-inch or something? Oh, the cough quote. Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of Thingy, but Thingy is the band that was briefly around right after Heavy Vegetable. And you know, look, oh yeah. Let's see what this is going for. Their first 7-inch. I got this years ago on Discogs. Oh, there you go. You can get it for $6. Cool. Vinyl Conflict Records. $6 for their first 7-inch. It's got Doesn't Mean Shit on it, which is pretty good, but it's, you know, whatever. It's not a great thing. What I do have is the Fantasy Mission Force 7-inch, which is actually apparently pretty rare. Where's that? Yeah, it's a one Circus Atari. It was a standalone single he did in '97. I interviewed Rob at this time. This is right around when I graduated. Helmet is math rock in my opinion, 100%. Yes, I would agree, and you can get their whole discography for nothing. I think I talked about it in a stream already, but I'll briefly run through that if we have time. Yeah, this is funny. So this here, ICBPBAA, stands for I Can't Believe P Believe the Alien Autopsy. So P. Hicks, his kind of partner in this band, apparently believed the Fox TV Alien Autopsy special. She thought it was real, and so that became the name of that song. But this is it's actually a really cute melody. It reminds me of that Naked Eyes 80s new wave song, There's Always Something There to Remind Me, their version of Always Something There to Remind Me. Pincushion is good. Like, this is a cool little 7-inch. Okay, it's not going for much money. Good. Someone mentioned to me that it would. Now, $10, I don't know, that's kind of whatever. But $8 is fine for that. It's just a cute, stupid, you know, one-off 7-inch. Like, that's whatever. Nice, Rob. That's probably vodka out of an Elmer's Glue bottle he was smuggling it in. Look, I don't want to... Rob is apparently like very sober and very publicly made a whole thing about how he was quitting drinking because it was taking food out of his kid's mouth and all those things. Like, that's where Rob's at in his life and in his personal life and whatever. And he's going on tour. Pinback's going on tour next year, I guess he announced recently. So I've always been a fan of his shit. I just mentioned this because it's one of my favorite records. This Lactose Adept, this is more like a Sebadoh home acoustic recordings thing. It's not math rock, there's no real band, but this is an amazing compilation of like really honest bedroom folk punk, and I highly recommend you get it while you can. There were not a lot of copies of this. It was on Cargo, but it was a shared print with Earth Music. I don't even know anything about them. Getting this $5, $6, $7 right now, everybody jump and get it. Like, cause I don't know, I'm surprised this isn't getting a bigger tax on it. Like Cargo is selling it for 25 direct sealed. I would get on this right away for anything under $10. You know, again, if you like lo-fi bedroom, you know, folk rock, the stuff on here, like Couch Fort Blues, Weighted Down, Healer is one. There's a later song. Oh, it's so good. What's that one I love toward the end? Who Takes My Recyclables? I can't remember. People Suck is People Suck. It's just really good one-off. Like it's kind of like writer's block pop, like writer's block acoustic, just bang it out, you know. Anyway, it's great. I'd get it. So there's the whole spiel on Rob Crow. I mean, if you don't know, Rob bizarrely had a weird big hit in the early 2000s out of nowhere with on Ace Foo. This song like ended up on the fucking radio. It was so weird. Was it on that or was it on Summer? I can't even fucking remember. I can't remember which one it was. But he had a song, what the fuck? I'm blanking so bad right now. He had a song that was like legitimately a huge hit. I think it's on this and I can't even fucking remember which one it was. Which one was it? Was it Penelope? I don't know. You know, I had the record. I remember this cover. Was it Penelope? It was a big hit. It was like a big MP3 internet hit. I wasn't a huge fan of the Pinback stuff and I didn't really keep up with it. Yeah, it's Penelope. Thanks for the reminder. Anyway, in Ada, going through some more stuff. So in the math rock video, I had said like, is overplaying math rock? And if so, well then the fucking Minutemen are math rock. So get some Minutemen records. Like, I don't know. George and Watt are like fucking, and it's San Pedro. So it's like lineage, you know, Cali fucking rep, you know, West Coast shit. And SST's had these in print forever. And if you look, like, SST has not been, they've been pressing vinyl to get the vinyl money. What you see here, all these buys, that was when I bought a discounted all of the vinyl. There was a seller that was selling a ton of the reissues for a really good rate, like almost a cutout rate. So I just swept it and I got all of these reissue vinyl pieces in like one haul from them. I think I paid like $60 for the whole thing. To get them, and it's just to have the object. I could give a shit about original pressings, whatever. The cover of the Punchline is one of my favorite album covers ever, and it's also one of my favorite records ever, front to back. So like the question is like, is this math rock or is this just the unique Minutemen sound? And really it's the latter. But like George is a phenomenal drummer, and this band is like playing at the edge of their fucking seat at all times. Like it's off the fucking rails from the word go. Search, Tension, Games, like this thing absolutely bombs start to finish. But if you don't know them, you're not familiar with them, there's these compilations called Post-Merch 1, 2, and 3 that came out in relatively big numbers in the late 80s. Looks like on Discogs there's not a lot of them. But like, you know, $10 for a sealed, near mint, maybe sealed, I don't know. Wow, I'm shocked. People are asking this kind of money for Post-Merch comps. These things were really common back in the day. They were really common. God damn, 7 starting at 18 for volume 2. This is the later stuff. So I mean, I would say you want to get Post-Merch 1 and 3 if you're looking to figure out about the band, because this collects the really killer early shit. Yeah, man, fucking A, starting at $18. Yeesh. Well, they did do a catch-all kind of to capitalize on a little resurgence in their popularity. Even this is going for $15. Wow. Wow, that's surprising. My buddy has this tattooed on his arm. This guy you would never in a million years have expected to get a tattoo has Pedro tattooed on his arm, the anchor. Anchor, turning around. Anyway, Let's blow through some other shit here. Ghosts and Vodka, if you don't know these guys, this is Midwest math stroke emo. They're adjacent to Captain Jazz and Joan of Arc, and the whole, like, these bands were so goddamn enormous, and this was like the Chicago heyday. And they only have one real record, but they do have a comp which came out, and this has Laser Guided by God. It also has what's the other? There's so much good stuff on this. But so this comp is kind of a picnic blanket rather that gets you everything. So this album is on it. And all the stuff from the EP Memento Mori, and then there's like a little jam, Bizarre Funeral at the end. So I mean, this gets you everything. Futuristic Genitalia is the song. If you want to go like YouTube or Spotify tune, Futuristic Genitalia is like one of the signature 90s math rock songs ever, even though it came in 2001. But like, these players were all part of the Chicago Joan of Arc, Twinkling, changing for the sake of changes for the sake of changes thing. Like that Joan of Arc record, How Memory Works, the song This Life Cumulative, like they've got some kind of synth and electro churning, but this is such a moment. Like if you weren't there, the people that are going back and they're like, American football was fucking nothing. That band did nothing. No one fucking heard them. No one cared. I loved it. A few of us loved it, but like that band was not swept up in the whole like Pitchfork rush, pitchfork.com, which was pitchforkmedia.com. Joan of Arc and these, because they were based in Chicago, Ryan and Brent and everybody else, James P. Wisdom and all those old school like Pitchfork people from back when I was involved in it. Joan of Arc is like the band that is twin. Like they were like Jess Hopper and Ryan were like getting in fights at fucking Joan of Arc shows. Like this is fucking late 90s, early 2000s online music. It was so slanted and biased towards Chicago because Pitchfork was based there. So anyway, yeah, I mean, look, I loved American football. I got the record like when it came out. I mean, I had the EP, the polyvinyl EP before that. Like we were tracking anything on polyvinyl, you were gonna get it because they were just, their reputation was fucking unbelievable in the early days, except for 90 Day Men. Oh, yeah, that's rough. Oh man, that gives me a shudder. Anyway, Ghosts and Vodka, don't know if this is going to be something you're going to bag. Yeah, there's only 2 copies, but it's not exorbitant. I mean, oh no, sorry. It's not even, there's not even a copy in the States here. I would imagine, I mean, look, Six Gun, like this label's only got 20, like, the label that I'm more of, the label I'm a part of is maybe going to lap these guys at the rate we're going. Like this label is not around long. Most labels are not around long because you don't make money. You throw money away. A record label is a fucking money pit. You're just never going to make money. You got to really want to do it, and you got to be in a place and be able to defray those costs with optimally a group of people that you see eye to eye with and trust, because you're never going to make money off selling records, whether it's CDs, vinyl, whatever. And I'm not going to whine about that, and neither is anybody that's part of this label. Like, we know we want to do this, and we can afford, mutually to take that on. So anyway, off my soapbox. They were a great band, and it's awesome that Six Gun was able to get these 3 cuts from the Memento Mori EP and throw them on this comp. So I highly recommend it. Another one I recommend, Oxes. Yes, another band totally lost in the Midwest emo conversation. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not allowed to be on TikTok. My kids will not let me use it because it's so fucking cringe to think of their dad being on it. I'm lucky they even let me do this because YouTube is for boomers, according to them. But this fucking record, man, Panda Strong, this whole thing front to back absolutely crushes. This is like long, it's sort of like Drive Like Jehu, but it's more mathy and funnier. It's right, basically, I'd consider Oxes right in between Drive Like Jehu and Don Cab. They're right in the middle of that. And they did 2 great records. The second one is a little honking and, yeah, guys, we're crazy. Like, Boss Kitty is the shit, though. Like, this song, oh my fucking God. And China too. Like, there's 4 songs I love on this, but there's songs that I really don't. Where the first record is so much more of a vibe all the way through. you know, I'm not trying to make too much of it, but they did come back a couple of years ago and do an album that it's actually really cool. They put the Peel session on it. So you get the first album and then you get this Peel session they got to do, which is actually really fucking strong. And I, you know, again, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and they really were good live. So if you want to go, the Fourth Wall compilation, it's vinyl tax. You know, you're gonna get hit with that, and that kind of sucks. Storm and Stress. No, this is not a Chris Weingarten stream. I can't go there. Sorry. Go ahead. Figure out if Chris Weingarten is still tweeting it 1,000 times yes, and you can get all the Storm and Stress dialogue you want. What else? I should blow through. It's getting later. Oh, so like then there's a question, right? Is Rodan post rock or is Rodan math rock? Because like I would say Shiner is kind of a math rock burst, but you know the other two big pieces on this, Bible Silver Corner and Everyday World of Bodies, are definitive post rock jams. Like they're 8-minute fucking jams, and Bible Silver Corner is just like a bass meditation. Is so fucking beautiful. I mean, this is just an outstanding record. It should be as famous as Slint's Spiderland, and so should Tara Jane O'Neill's other band after this, the Sonora Pines 2, which I went back and forth with Riley Walker about. Riley Walker has just reissued the Sonora Pines 2, which again, I did a video called The Post Rock Alphabet on YouTube years and years ago, and I talked about how post rock, similar to math rock, is like all I did in the 90s. And the Sonora Pines 2 is top 5 for me, easily, maybe even top 3. So I did buy the reissue to contribute to it, and bought it direct from Tara Jane O'Neill. There's also a 2 CD reissue. I should mention this, not that anyone probably wants to blow the money on it, but I just got it in the mail after like 6 weeks. So shipping from Japan is still very laggy, but this is a Japanese label did a reissue, Obi Strip Tax, big time Obi Strip Tax, of her 2001 solo album, Peregrine. This thing is wonderful, and the demos and rarities on this of her, like, you know, working up this material after Sonora Pine has kind of exhausted itself for her. Oh man, so great. I was so stoked and willing. I think I paid about $30 to get this shipped from Japan, but you know, I'm a huge fan of her work to a point. I'm you know, I'm not blindly like into artists and just follow them wherever they go, but I really liked what she had going on, and her voice and her whole kind of identity was just so just kind of honest, and I don't want to say like, yeah, whatever, I don't want to make like kind of class or region statements about it, but she had such an authentic fucking vibe, is my point. You know, and not to pit people against each other, but there were a lot of other artists at the time who approached things differently, like, you know, the Mary Timoneys and Liz Phair's of the world. I'm not saying all women are bound by particular ways of behaving, but she just had such a straight kind of truth vibe that I felt from what she was doing. And I just always had a lot of respect for it. And so I want to promote that. If you haven't, it's all sold out now, I think. But take a look again, you know, hit up Riley Walker on Twitter, find out where he's got it. And if there are still copies of that Sonora Pine 2 reissue, because it's also remastered and it really sounds fantastic. Well, that's the thing. Spiderland is post-rock, Tweez is math rock. Like I said at the very beginning, Slint has feet in both worlds. There it is. And then, so Bitch Magnet again. Bitch Magnet's Ben-Hur. There's no way this is going to be, but it was reissued. There's a communion edition. There's a whole bunch of editions of this, actually. Like, Bitch Magnet went through a weird reissue phase. What is it? Yeah, there's this Temporary Residence did this in 11. They did a box set with everything. Wow, you can get this for $20? Wait a minute. That's surprising. Let's make sure that's not an anomaly. This has got to have stupid tax. There's 8 copies in the States, 27, 30, 32. I mean, look, if you know the band, to get that on vinyl for $35, Temporary Residence, I would say that if you're a vinyl collector, that's a pretty good deal. Albini produced it. No, so Albini famously has to tell you, it's very important that you know that Steve Albini did not produce this. He mixed this college band's tape. He mixed it. So basically it sounded like shit and Albini tried to make it sound good. But it's got like crazy fucking gate on the drums and stuff that Albini would never have put on it. But he did mix it and make it sound better. You mean, look, to me, the first record I don't like all that much. I mean, American Cruiser's okay. I'm not, like, they weren't together enough. Ben-Hur is the statement, and it's the only one I'm worried about. And I would imagine you probably, especially in Europe, in the UK, can find this for not all that much. And it's easily, I mean, to me, it's easily their best, most lasting record. So I would say $7.99 is fair. $6. Yeah, this is good. It's the Communion edition. It's fine. The Glitter House one is for $10. Yeah, you need to go get that right now. If you're getting, this is the Glitter House. Now, I have the sticker. Maybe you won't when you get this. But I have the sticker. The Glitter House version is the original edition of this. I actually collect this label a little bit. Oh my God, I wrote the track listing on a fucking piece of 3-line paper because it's not written on the record. Can you say I was a college radio DJ? Oh my God, that is so silly. And look, there's a burn. There's a fucking burn of Umber and Star Booty inside, even though I bought it later. Ha! Oh man. I'm so fucking old. Anyway, I'll put that together later. We're coming up at time. Glitter House was such a fucking cool label. There's so much good stuff on here. It's like Helios Creed, Halo of Flies. There's so much good shit. If you wanted to hit a label and really be like tagging and watching, like, look, Cows isn't for everyone, but if you want to get a feel for like the pre-Nirvana utopia and the vibe of what was going on right before grunge happened, Glitter House was right in the mix on that, as much as Enigma, Blast First, and any of that other shit. But it looks like this Communion edition of Ben-Hur, relatively gettable. I would say get it. We were talking about Crank earlier, Boy's Life. We were talking about Chicago earlier. So yeah, Braid. So Braid is the other band alongside the Joan of Arcs of the world that Pitchfork inflicted on the fucking universe. Like, this band did not at all. Look, Sean was kind of a whatever. I don't want to go there. Braid was so much bigger than they ever deserved to be as a result of Pitchfork. Straight up. That's all I have to say. By the time Frame and Canvas came out, we were acting like it was this fucking huge deal. Similar to like the D Plan, when Emergency and I comes out and it's like, this is the American radio, this is the answer to OK Computer. America's answer to Radiohead is the Dismemberment Plan. Holy shit. Anyway, Braid is a math rock band. They're kind of like a poppy punky math rock band with one of the most overplaying fucking drummers you have ever heard. You know, Bob didn't make a ton of friends at the time, but sorry, but they were look, they were fucking cocky. They just were. There were some bands that were just fucking cocky, and Braid were, and it was fucking annoying. Like, they thought they were the kings of the fucking scene, and they rubbed me totally the wrong way. I mean, versus like, think of bands like Scared of Chaka and fucking Carver's Driver, and you know, there were so many other bands that were just fucking cool and chill. And like Braid, they thought they were a big deal. They got big heads. It sucks. Whatever. And the definition of their big heads is this fucking movie music comp, you know, this big 4 LP set, like with all their 7-inch shit. Within 18 months of anybody even hearing about this band, every fucking 7-inch they ever put out is on these compilations in 2000. I mean, that is fucking hubris non-pareil. Like, it's silly, man. I'm sorry. But these you can get for like 40, 50 cents. And I would definitely recommend picking them up. All the shit I'm saying, Braid had some fucking tunes. They had some absolute fucking pop jams. You may find his voice annoying, their whole vibe annoying. I pretty much do, but this movie music comps, you can get these all day for like $4 or $5. And if you care about Midwest emo, stop talking about American football, because Braid was way fucking bigger than any other band at this time. And look, Frame and Canvas is a fucking good record. New Nathan Detroit's and what's the Consolation Prize Fighter. These two songs are absolutely fucking incredible. And they are legitimately like good technical drumming, funny inverse tom fills and like rolls. It's good shit. And starting at $2 and 51 copies, you know, gotta recommend Braid. Whatever, all that other bullshit aside, gotta recommend Braid. You gotta get some Braid in there. TikTok kids, if they're not repping Braid, they need to. Absolute Hooks on Frame, you know it. And Frankie Welfare Boy got reissued. This has like a fucking 1,000 songs on it. They did the thing of like their first album, it's fucking ridiculous. Frankie Welfare Boy H5, I think it has like 28 songs on it. Quarters is on this, right? Yeah, it's a great one. And every one of these songs is, you know, it's like, it's kind of like their own little stab at the Minutemen. Like that's kind of what they were trying to do, but it came out very different. One thing I wanted to mention, if you're interested, there's something on Discogs that I just want to point out, and it's not cheap. There's a band called Chinese Football. So this is how big American football got when this whole crazy shit happened that I didn't even know about. Because the majority of when this really went nuts, I was offline. And when I came back and I'm seeing people talking about American football like they're the original Jesus Christ, I was pretty thrown by this. And it's fine, it's great, love them. And then they reform and they do, it's like Slow Dive coming back. Like I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But great for them. They were a great band. I'm not too sure about the kind of the new stuff. Man, some of that sounds like fucking Fleetwood Mac. The drum production is so chubby. Anyway, there is this band called Chinese Football from China. And these CDs, these weigh like fucking a pound. They're so heavy. This is like classic, you know, tributary math rock, international, inspired by it. And the reason I want to mention it is there is a seller on Discogs that has these CDs. Now, this isn't like you're getting their whole discography, but I want to point out the fact that you can actually do this. If you're interested in this band and you want to get their material, and obviously you do not want to get it on LP because it's double white vinyl and it costs like $700. The CD, there is a seller in China. That's not the one. So that's interesting because it looks like the seller that I got this from is sold out of it. But let me see if I can find it real quick. I just want to show you that there is a seller that sells this and they're totally legit. It's not cheap, but if you were interested, this seller is actually, they're totally legit. They're not, you know, it will get to you. And they had all three of these records at the time I looked. Here Comes the New Challenger, what's it called? Continue and the Debut. They had all three of them on CD. I haven't opened them because I got them off Bandcamp. You can get these off Bandcamp, the Flax, which is a further expense, but I was like, it's so like the packaging was so good. So just as a point of like, you can, if you were curious and you've heard of this band and you wanted to try and get these CDs, it's not cheap. You're looking at like, you know, $20 a CD, but you can get them over here safely and in perfect condition. And the packaging was nuts. It was just hermetically sealed and wrapped in like an overall plastic. Really cool to find that you could trust, like, you could legit get something internationally safely, and I just wanted to mention it. So last thing, I'm going to go over by 5 minutes, is the Chaves. So is Chavez a math rock band? Kinda-ish. It's mostly, I've said before about James Lowe's drumming, but I've never pulled up the Chaves, and because of this compilation, I have to imagine, if you were there in the 90s, we called them Chaves. It's Chavez, obviously, but it's... The first album, Gone Glimmering, they were on Matador. These were pressed in enormous quantities. You know, you don't need to get this DVD compilation. Like, they did some goofy, funny videos. Like, if you don't know the main guy, like one of the guys wrote a book, the other guy went to Noisy and did the Noisy videos where he interviews musicians. Famously, he did an amazing one with the dude from Ween where they talk about like how brown a guitarist Jimmy Page is. Anyway, they've gone on to other things, everybody in this band, and they had done other things before. There's these other bands that they were in. But this is like peak 90s indie rock to me, like the best of what underground rock bands were doing in the 90s. There is some mathy kind of playing. The song Relaxed Fit, The Nerve, I think, has a little bit of a cutoff, one of the measures, I can't remember. But like Break Up Your Band is a good halftime layback groove. And I would have thought there'd be more. Here's one for $6 with a hole punch, $6, €5. Looks like you're making out better in the EU. But you know, this is under $10. So let's see if the inverse is true and it's the compilation where you're gonna make out. I know I got this for nothing. Price lowest. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, it's the promo sampler, which I have that too. There you go, $7. Holy shit, there's your way to go. 7 to 10, 15 bucks for this all day. You may be even able to get this new direct from Matador, so look into that. But I love this band. The second record, this is also the band where Bryce Goggin kind of polished his production technique on the compressed, crazy, fucking gated drums and shit. This second album, The Guard Attacks on Unreal is here. Even New Room, like the whole fucking run, the first 4 songs on this, and then it comes right back to Lions, Our Boys Will Shine, Ever Overpsyched is so good. These guys were so solid for 2 straight LPs. Like both of these records, front to back, are 100% legit. Can't recommend them enough. You know, the Pentagram Ring EP has a couple tunes that aren't on the debut. So if you can find this Better Days, you know, for under 15 bucks, or, you know, again, go check Matador. Such a fucking great band. Just one of my favorite bands that's ever been in this whole, you know, kind of hard rock, you know, weird drum signatures, big fills, stop start kind of thing. They absolutely shredded. And they did come back and do this funny EP. I'll mention it as the last thing right before, no, it was 2017. It wasn't right before the pandemic. This you should be able to get for nothing. It's in an annoying cardboard sleeve, the CD. But the Bully Boys is a great little tune. It's got like a double bass, you know, rush at the end. The singer lied is good too. I like this. It's just a 3-peat on the vinyl, but there is a CD of it, I think, if I recall. Didn't they do a CD of this? Am I fucking high? I'm fucking high. I guess they didn't do a CD of this, but I love it anyway. It's a great record. Why did I think I have this on CD? Strange, weird, my brain. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up for here. It's you know, fun time. Go look up the fucking noisy clip of it's Matt, right? The fucking scruffy dude. He rules. It's so fucking funny. The interview he does with the dude from Ween. They're like fucking shit, like half drunk, smoking butts in a trailer. It's fucking great. Anyway, thanks to everybody for coming out. You know, appreciate it. Anybody who's not subbed, smash that like button and subscribe. And if it's whatever, I don't know. We're inching toward 400 subs. If this thing doesn't get to monetization soon, it's just going to be an orphan stab. We tried. Thanks everybody again, and I'm sure this won't be the only math rock one. We'll probably do another at some point. And so yeah, see you next Thursday. All right, peace.